This conference will now be recorded.
All right, here we go. Call to order. Holly, will you do a roll call, and when your name is called, just let everyone know who you're representing.
Okay, Wendy Hess, Travis Solom, Bridget Edson,
Bridget Edson present, representing EMS.
Mindy Benson,
Mindy Benson, Blackhawk County Emergency Management present, representing Iowa Emergency Managers.
Michelle is not here, Curtis Wilton,
Present, representing volunteer fire departments.
David Ness,
Here, Municipal Police, Des Moines.
Dan Schaefer,
Present, Municipal and Police.
Ian Fink,
Present, representing sheriff's offices.
Rhonda Broaddus, don't think she's here, Cindy Hike, Daniel Brown, Michael Strausser, Steve Hope,
Present, Iowa Department of Public Safety.
Patrick Updike,
Patrick Updike, present, Iowa Department of Corrections.
Blake Jerushi,
Present, representing Iowa Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
and Jessica Turba.
Wendy Hess is also present, representing communications.
Okay. Is there anyone else that jumped on late?
Jeff Bandywater, Adair County Sheriff.
Anybody else? We only have 10 right now, so unless yeah, we only have 10. Oh, wait. Never mind. Yeah, we have 10, so we don't have a quorum yet. So,
Did you
I think Wendy signed in.
did you get Wendy Hess?
Yeah.
I got Wendy.
Sheriff Vanderwater?
Is Travis Solomon? Rhonda's not. Cindy Hike. Daniel Brown. Michael Strausser.
This conference will now be recorded.
Jessica Turbo was on for a minute. If somebody has her contact information, maybe she could jump back on. Maybe she lost connection.
Anybody?
Looks like Travis Solom is also logging on.
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay.
I apologize. I was having technical difficulties this morning.
Okay, so we do have a quorum now.
Yes. All right, it's April 13th, 2023, Isicsb board. I'd like to just start off by saying that in the almost 12 years I've done this, I've never sat in this position or never thought I would, but here I am. So if I seem a little nervous or make any mistakes, feel free to call me out on it. So I also wanted to recognize the National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Of course, working in Department of Corrections, we don't take 911 calls, but we still have people that work those positions and handle, a lot of phone calls, watching 200 plus cameras, talking on radio systems that have 10 plus tiles on the console. So, a shout out to all those people that do that type of work. I did sit in on that position one day, and I thought this is a lot harder than what I thought it was. So, kudos to all those people that do that. That takes a lot of skill. Next, we've got a new member, Sheriff Jeffrey Vandewater out of Adair County. Jeffrey, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself. No. Okay.
Sheriff Vandewater, are you on? Are you able to unmute and just introduce yourself to the group?
Looks like he just came back into the meeting.
Yes, he's still on.
In the chat. Put in the chat. Holly, in the chat.
What's that?
Something in the chat.
That's good. We'll move on. Next is the approval of today's agenda. Do we have a motion for that?
Bank will make the motion.
Benson will second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion is approved. Next is the approval of meeting minutes from March 9th, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve those meeting minutes?
Ness move.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Who was second?
Well,
Okay.
any opposed? Motion passes. Next is the SWIX report. SWIX Nichols.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dyke. First, I would like to also say Happy Telecommunicator Week to those important first responders behind the radio. That's where I started, so my heart will always be with those in the comm centers. Thank you for all that you do. Holly has done a tremendous job of editing and revising the newsletter. She's included a survey on the top of page 1 to get some feedback on what that newsletter might be missing, what you like about it, what we should definitely keep. So please let her know through that survey. And if you would like to get on that mailing list, there's a link to her email on the website where that's listed. The Audio Gateway course will be held April 18th and 19th at DPS headquarters. That's next week. We have a full course with 10 students registered. Communications Unit Leader course registration is live. That will be held in Cedar Rapids at the fire station May 22nd to the 25th. Last I looked, there were 10 registered students, still seats available. There was an error in the registration that I had made that shut it down after 10 students. I don't know if anybody attempted to register and was kicked out, but if so, please go back and register again, and I have fixed that problem. Registration is open now for the communications technician. That will be held June 19th through the 23rd in Spencer, Iowa. There are 16 seats for that class. We will also have an incident tactical dispatch course in October in Pot County. That registration is not yet live, so just save those dates. Work continues with committees on reviewing the tactical interoperable communications plan. The requested edits have been implemented, so we'll put that in the Google for everyone to review. And if there's anything else that comes up, we can make those changes, but it should be ready for approval at the next board meeting. And then we can, this month in committee, review the field operation guide that's also on that Google Drive. If you need access to that, just let me know. We had an Iowa-Illinois Interstate Interop meeting in Clinton County, April 6th. I would like to thank Clinton County Sheriff's Office for hosting that meeting. It's a really beautiful facility. And thank those that were able to participate from Illinois and Iowa, as well as CISA Region 5 and 7 emergency communication coordinators who helped lead that meeting. Had some good conversation on what is currently being utilized for interoperability and the challenges that might exist. We were also reminded to keep the continuum in mind and all of its components. Technology is just one of those, but we also must have SOPs, training, and usage be part of that plan. We will have another meeting probably midsummer with a more revised policy to review. I've been traveling around to meet and train public safety in Iowa. Van Buren County is interested in upgrading to their Isicsb use, and we conducted radio testing on some of their trouble spots. A presentation was given at the Davis County School with attendees from the school district, the 911 board, and local fire departments. And Lucas County integrated their consulate into their radio console. They will visit their dispatch and provide training on the system as well as status board. I do welcome the opportunity to come and provide those trainings or those radio testing with a group of people. I'm not doing that by myself, and thankfully there are people that help do that. And so if you know of any of those requests, please let us know. And later in the meeting, we'll have some communications unit credentialing, which is very exciting. And unless there's any questions, that's all I have for now.
Okay, thanks. Next up is 911 Council Report, Program Manager DeRucci.
Thank you very much. I would like to echo my thanks and appreciation for National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week and those who work at PSAPs. I appreciate you all. The 911 Council met just prior to the Isicsb meeting. Those are recorded and saved onto YouTube if you're interested. Really just one quick thing to note, however, I mentioned previously that we've been going kind of around the state and turning up interstate 911 transfers so that when those border counties transfer a 911 call, both callback number and location information is passed. You might be surprised to know that that is not always the way it's been done, but we are kind of going live state by state with that. Previously, we have turned up Minnesota. We have now turned up South Dakota as well. Nebraska is in process of being tested out, and Illinois is around 30 to 60 days out before we can turn those other states up. So that concludes my brief. I would take any questions. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Next up is the User Group Committee. Chair Hess.
The user group committee met on March 16th. There weren't really any regional reports given. Reviewed the applications that are later on the agenda. The only real topic of discussion was discussing the possibility of having applicants available when we meet as a user group so that if there's questions about their application, they can give us a better understanding of how they plan to use the Isicsb system. That's about all I have.
Okay, thanks. Next up is Finance Committee. Chair Brown.
If he's not on, I can read the numbers to you. Do you have that to pull up on the spreadsheet? Do you have the finance spreadsheet to pull up? Or? Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, no problem. So the March expenditures were $14,339.36, which leaves an ending balance of $164,379.17. Year-to-date expenditures, $82,200.72. It's a different format we're showing than other meetings, but if there's any questions, I'll take those.
Okay, thanks. Governance Committee, Chair Neff.
I had other obligations on the 3rd. I believe the SWIC can provide an update.
Yeah, Chair Ness, no one else was in attendance for that meeting, so no report.
Thank you.
Next up is Operations Committee.
Sure, I have that. I just took over as chair, Bridget Edson, and we discussed discipline-specific encryption talk groups. This was also a joint meeting with, I believe, the Technology Committee. They've identified 6 low-power pool frequencies that could be used for this. At this point, my understanding is that we're going to put that out for a 30-day review for feedback before moving forward. Chair Updike, did you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I can cover that in the technology report.
Okay, that was our only topic. It took up our entire meeting time.
Okay. Thanks. Next up is training and outreach.
Sure, I'll take that. Good news, Travis Solem has graciously agreed to take on the chair of that committee. So our next meeting, he will chair and then be able to give me reports after that. There was no meeting in March, but Aaron Froning did record the pursuit standard, and it's ready for its final edit. So we have that recording, and we'll review that at our next meeting also. And then we'll be looking at the next project, which should be working on 10 and 15-minute quick, short, how-to operational training videos. And that's all I got.
Thanks. Up next is technology. That would be me. So the technology committee met on March 23rd and April 4th. I wasn't able to attend the April 4th, so I'm probably going to have Region 1 Rob Jenner bail me out on some of this, but we kind of bypassed the TIC-P and IFOG discussion so that we can continue with these discipline-specific issues, and some of the updates hadn't been done by the time we reached those meeting days. And I did attend the operations committee call, and so Rob went out there and we found 6 frequencies that are potentially available for licensing, and he assigned names to those frequencies for use. Operations kind of picked it apart a little bit because of the naming convention that was being used on that. Rob, do you want to expand on this since you kind of spearheaded all of that?
Sure. There's been quite a conversation about encryption and discipline-specific. There was a lot of discussion about whether we reuse the low-power direct channels that exist today. That was a bad idea. So we did find in that 700 megahertz NIPSPAC pool 6 other low-power channels that are not widely used in the state, that we could really expand the existing unencrypted in addition to adding some encrypted for a total of, I think it's 9 total channels that are off-system direct channels, encrypting a few of them, adding a couple others to the what are now called the iTalks. The names were updates to the names were suggested. Is there any chance you have that, we could show that list?
I just got paper.
That's fine.
I have it.
We can send it out too. But they'll need to be licensed and essentially expanding on what's available for off-system use.
Yeah, part of the discussion on the addition of these frequencies was, do you encrypt 4 of them or do you encrypt 3 of them? They really come to a conclusion on that as
You're gonna make me look.
operations thought it would be a good idea to mimic what the naming of these frequencies look like based on what the naming is on the Isicsb system for the interoperability talk groups that exist, which I think we all agreed was probably a good idea because then there's no confusion if you go to an off-system resource. It's laid out in a similar fashion as far as the naming, so you wouldn't see 7iTalk, whatever. It would be modeled more after those existing talk groups. So, yeah, it's going to create some programming issues for the technicians if they decide to change all of this, but that's why they wanted to push this out for like a 30-day comment. That gives everybody who are potential users of this time to flush these issues out at a local level, whatever level that may be, and then we can come back and take those comments and come to some agreement. And then it would just be an issue of licensing those frequencies, so we would have to work with DPS on getting that done because it's got to go through our PC, the coordination process, and then the licensing. And then really, once that process is all complete, then really all we need to do is just push out a statement to the board that says, hey, we're going to update the ICS 217A with these frequencies and their naming of those frequencies. So it might take a while, but that's kind of how I envision things working in this whole process. We haven't even got onto the subject of talk groups within the system. We're just dealing with, like what Rob said, off-system resources right now. So this is going to take a little bit of time to get worked through all of that. Rob, you want to add anything else?
There are 3 that we're proposing to be encrypted, 2 of them for public safety, 1 of them law enforcement specific. And then the other 3 additional would be really just 4, 5, and 6 unencrypted. So there'd be a total of 6 unencrypted, available to anyone, off-system direct channels, and then 3 that are encrypted, 2 specifically for public safety, meaning police, fire, and EMS, 1 law enforcement only.
Yeah, and so that's really being accomplished by assigning separate FLNs for that feature for those. That's why it's called discipline specific. We assign certain things to those. So, moving on, once we get to this TIC-T and IFOG, then we're going to start. I know I mentioned it before, but we're going to do a deep dive into this Part 90 eligibility discussion because I think it's important that we do and try to educate people on what that says because it varies by frequency bands, this person versus that person. It's not just a one and done and it covers everything. There's a lot of moving parts within the Part 90 eligibility rule, so we're gonna tackle that one. So, other than that, that's about as far as I want to go for one day. So that's what's happening in technology. Okay, if there's no other questions, we'll move along. Next up is FirstNet Broadband Committee. Not sure.
This is Mindy Benson. I'm now the chair, replaced Chair Bill on the broadband committee. The committee did meet on Tuesday. It was a regular monthly meeting with updates from AT&T partners. Brian, with who's on FirstNet, and other system information sharing will be highlighted during the meeting by John and Tyler. Our next meeting will be May 9th at 9 a.m. And I also want to echo what everybody else has said about dispatchers across the state. They really are the backbone of our first responders. Having previously been a dispatcher, I'm not sure I could do it again going back into this, but they do a wonderful job.
All right, thanks. Next up is other reports, information sharing from the board members.
This is Wendy. I know that some of you are aware of the system-wide radio system outage we had on our Starcom network last Monday, April 3rd. And some were interested in hearing what happened. I don't have all the answers. I can tell you that we have a 6-site system connected by microwave, and the microwave basically between our main site here at the dispatch center and then our Anthem Tower, which is another primary site, failed, which then somehow caused a Motorola circuit to also fail. So we lost all 800 megahertz public safety radio system for about 4 hours last Monday. So some of the things that we believe to be true about the system are not true. And so our microwave vendor is working with Motorola. Even when the microwave was repaired, half of our channels on our main site were still down, and Motorola had to fix that. So I don't have all the answers. The players involved, the vendors are involved, are committed to working together to build additional redundancy so this can't happen. We basically moved everyone to conventional contingency plans that we have in place. So if you have questions, I probably don't have a lot of answers.
Thanks. Anyone else with information?
We could see if Sheriff Vandewater is available. No.
Okay. Sheriff Vandewater, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yep. We're going to put you on the spot and introduce you as a new member, so you get to tell us about yourself.
I started with the Nebraska State Patrol in 1996 and then came back home to Adair County Sheriff's Office in 97 and have been here since. Elected sheriff, in 2014. And then, I'm not the most tech guy around, but did work, with Motorola and got our agency set up probably 2 or 3 years ago, and it was a learning experience. So this opportunity came up, and I will probably learn more than I will contribute, but I'm here.
In relation to Larry?
Yes. Distant, but yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Hey, Chair, this is Dave Ness with a quick comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just really wanted to express appreciation for both technology and operations for your work both on the encryption, which it sounds like some other things may have been postponed slightly to work on that, and it's significantly important, but also a complex issue. And then leading into your other issue of licensing and user access, it's on deck. Two important things that have been needed for a while, and it's exciting that both groups are working together to make progress on them. So thank you.
Thanks. Any other information sharing from the board members?
Vice Chair, this is Lieutenant Hove.
Go ahead.
Just want to say welcome to Sheriff Vandewater. You may remember me as a young trooper way back in 1999, living in Corning and working with him on some mid shifts. So welcome to the board. Excuse me, sorry.
Thank you. Yes, I do.
Also, just wanted to mention, I think I see Senator Green logged in, and that's twice he's attended. So we appreciate that the legislators are taking note of what's going on. And then lastly, just kind of talking about that, what Wendy Hess just brought up about their system. I think some bold things were said there without knowing exactly everything that was going on. And I don't think it's the system per se, but possibly some secondary redundancy issues at play. So without having all that knowledge, we're making an assertion, or we're asserting something that we don't know to be true. So I just wanted to clarify that. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks. Any more information sharing from the board members? Okay, we'll move on. Next up is the Isicsb System Administrator Report. Scott Richardson.
Thank you. I'll start off with Isicsb maintenance. We have 3 sites scheduled for RF maintenance this week: Cherokee, O'Brien, and Rock Rapids. Rock Rapids is currently undergoing maintenance now. The other 2 have been performed earlier this week and are back online. Recently, due to the storms, we did sustain damage to 3 radome covers, Atlantic, Adair North, and Shelby. Motorola is working to remedy that and get those covers replaced. And as was mentioned earlier with the Woodbury outage, we are also awaiting results, causes, remedies to prevent that in the future. An update on our CISA cybersecurity assessment. We received the final report March 23rd. We are on the process of reviewing that now. We'll have more details to follow. I will tell you that 18% of the assessment points were not met, and most of those were documentation or policy related. So we'll be looking at those and seeing how we can remedy that. Isicsb numbers for March of 23. Radios stand at 32,458. Talk groups are 2,938. And push-to-talks were just over 2.5 million. And that would conclude my report.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It's pretty consistent as well.
Okay, thanks. Next up is FirstNet Authority, John Olson.
I don't think he's on.
Okay. How about the AT&T update, Tyler Richard?
I don't see him on either.
Okay. Next up, CISA update, Chris Myers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I'll step a little bit closer to the microphone since I'm sitting in the back. So good morning, board. I appreciate the time today as always, and also I want to extend a gracious thank you to all the 911 telecommunicators out there this week during Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Appreciate everything all the dispatchers and 911 call takers do to keep everybody safe, and also to ensure that even on their worst day, everything can be done to ensure that there's a good outcome for those involved. April is Emergency Communications Month. This is the 2nd annual Emergency Communications Month that CISA has partaken in. The goal is to honor emergency communications professionals of all disciplines and to highlight their critical role for addressing emergencies. This is also important to help ensure that people can think about how to keep people connected during a disaster or anything else that may come our way. One thing that CISA wants to remind everybody this month is the theme of Get Connected and Stay Connected. and that focuses around CISA's priority telecommunications services. For many of us, it's going to be GETS and WPS, which gives you priority access to networks to call across networks so that you can ensure that you can both place and receive a call. The other part of Get Connected and Stay Connected is also a priority telecommunications service, restoration, which is under the TSP moniker. That gives you priority restoration capabilities for your critical data lines, such as your 911 trunks and other things that may be used within communication centers. If you have any questions on GET, WPS, or TSP, please let me know, and we will get those answered for you. On the next slide, we're going to start rolling into some products that were released over the last month. The first of which is LMR for Information Technology Pros. This paper is geared towards those, say, city, county, and even state level IT professionals that may be involved in the deployment of a modern trunked radio system. This paper does call out radio systems specifically, but it also has some applicability to your other communication systems, such as 911 and CAT. This document attempts to explain some of the key differences in, say, your standard enterprise network to a communication system, and it also talks about some key things that have to be discussed for provisioning, resource needs, management, and maintenance, and also project deployment timelines. It's a good read for those that are just wading into the waters of advanced communications capabilities, and it really helps kind of level set the playing field on how one system differs from another. On the next slide, we have another product to talk about. It is the Cybersecurity Advisory for Lockbit 3.0. Lockbit 3.0 is the ransomware that will just not go away, and it's not expected to go away anytime soon as it is constantly evolving. This advisory was published last month to highlight the fact that Lockbit 3.0 is still circulating, and it is one of those things that continues to be an issue. There are some communication centers within the Region 7 states of Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, and Missouri that have been affected by Lockbit, and having awareness of this ransomware is important so that you can take steps to prevent it, and this CSA outlines that. On the next slide, a quick update on the SafeCom nationwide survey. This is coming soon. We are hopefully rounding the final corner on the updates that were made to that. They made some updates to it to address some of the uniqueness of our tribes and other entities that may be out there with U.S. territories to make sure that their operating picture is accurately conveyed when people take the survey. Hopefully this will be out in the next month or so. Keep an eye out for an email from sns@cisa.dhs.gov, and that will have instructions on how to take the survey. And finally, within the region, there's several communications courses that are being delivered. One of them is a CommT that will be in support of the NFL draft in Kansas City. We've also got some communications leader courses that are happening at Fort Leonard Wood, but those are all pretty far drives for everybody here. And even the ones in St. Francis County, those are down pretty close to Cape Girardeau, Missouri, which is in the southeastern corner. However, there is one communications unit course that I do want to point out to the group today. That is the Information Technology Service Leader course that will be happening in Wichita, Kansas. This is geared towards those IT professionals that may have a response capability or component, and it aligns well with NIMS and ICS and the rest of the communications section within those units. So if you have anybody that is perhaps a good candidate for this course, please let me know, and I will get you in touch with the Kansas SWIC as they are opening this course for regional attendance. They have about 5 spots that will be available for out-of-state attendees. So please, if you have an interest in this or know someone who may, please send them my way, and we'll see if we can get them connected to the state of Kansas for that course. Of note, ITSL has not been offered much in Region 7, so again, this is a unique delivery for those that are minded in the IT space and have a communications response capacity as well. That's all I have for the month, Mr. Vice Chair. I can go ahead and take any questions.
All right, thanks. Next up is Information Sharing Framework Update. Blake DeRucci.
And I do have an update on this. As a reminder for folks, this has been an agenda item for some time, but just kind of, again, as a reminder, about a year to a year and a half ago, CISA approached the state of Iowa with a kind of wanting to do a CAD-to-CAD pilot project white paper. And that kind of fell squarely between 911 and Isicsb kind of responsibilities, duties. So it was kind of a joint venture between 911 Council and Isicsb. So we worked with a number of Central Iowa PSAPs on CAD to CAD sharing, kind of an analysis of what they had in place and the potential for beginning to look at different ways to share CAD data. So there's been a number of stakeholder meetings as well as presentations, and then finally the written document was delivered to us here within the last month or so. So it is a very challenging technical read. Make sure you're ready to dive in when you start looking at that document. For my 2 cents worth, I think the best part of it is to look at what other areas of the nation have done as far as kind of illustrations of different models on how other areas have done CAD to CAD interoperability. So just after the 911 Council meeting, I did send that out to PSAPs. It's posted on our PSAP Google shared site. By all means, I'm not sure who would be the best person to send that out to the board or any other stakeholders that are hearing this right now, but that is available to be shared at this point. If Captain Pierce is in the room, if there's anything else that he wants to add or any of the folks that might have participated in that, by all means, jump in. I'm not the only one that was involved.
No, I think you did well in describing that, Blake.
Right, so that's really the report. I think at this point it's kind of, I don't know, going forward we may be able to take that off, that agenda item off, or be willing to have that conversation about what that looks like going forward. But that concludes that kind of that piece of the agenda.
Okay, thanks. Next up is old business. It doesn't look like there is any, so we'll move on to new business with new Isicsb user approval. Chair has.
So I haven't handled this before, so I'm not 100% sure the procedure, but there are 4 user applications up for approval today. The Alameda County Sheriff's Office Level 2, Canadian Pacific Police Service Railroad Level 2, Decatur County Sheriff's Office Level 3, and Iowa Department of Corrections Anamosa Level 2.
You did good. So here's what I want to do. I would like to separate the first 3, which would be Alameda County, Canadian Pacific Police Service, and Decatur County Sheriff's Office. Put that into one vote and separate Anamosa State Penitentiary out as a separate vote.
Would there be any other people who would need to abstain from any of these particular applications?
This is Dave. I would encourage Chair Hess to make the motion for 1 through 3 if that was the committee's intent. The only time the motion can't come from or shouldn't come from the user group is if it's being presented by somebody that's not a formal member of the board. So.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve Alameda Level 2, Canadian Pacific Police Level 2, and Decatur County Sheriff's Office Level 3.
I'll second those.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion passes.
And I will make a motion to approve the Iowa Department of Corrections Anamosa State Penitentiary Level 2.
Olem, second.
Any further discussion? I don't know how to handle this other than to say I'm going to abstain on this vote. So I'm going to say all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion passes. Next up, we have the ComL, INTD, ComT, ComL, ComT credentials. So
There's a lot of others.
yeah.
Yeah. How are we doing this, Holly? Alphabetical order?
Yeah, I was just gonna tell you, Clinton Miller's not here. No.
Where are you guys going?
I don't know, right up here. Yeah.
So Tracy is first.
Oh, first up, Tracy Bearden is receiving her Communications Unit Leader credentialing today. This is Polk County. Congratulations to you. Nice hard work. Very good, very good.
Celeste.
Celeste Moore. Storm Lake State Radio receiving her Incident Tactical Dispatcher credentialing. Very good.
Thank you.
Congrats. Bean Polfeeder, Des Moines State Radio, receiving his Communications Unit Leader. Congratulations, Bean. Yeah.
It's Chad Roberts.
Oh, here we go with Chad. We're feeling these things out.
Hey, look, I'm
Chad Roberts with Des Moines State Radio, INTD, ComT, and ComL. A lot of work went into that. You hold them up like this. Okay, let's get a picture of each one just so you have it. Here's the ComL.
Okay.
Wow, Chad.
Got it?
Come on, Chad. And the ComT. He did a lot of work so he gets 3 pictures.
You have all 3 held up.
Very nice. Nice hard work, Chad. Thank you.
Just
And these are Aaron's.
And Aaron, dual purpose here, lots of hard work. Aaron Speck, Sioux Falls State Radio, ComL.
got it.
And INTV also.
Got it.
Thank you, Aaron.
Patrick.
Dyke. Department of Corrections.
This has been a long time coming.
Communications technician, finally, you get here in person. Congrats to you.
Gotcha.
Is that all of that?
That's it.
Okay, and we want to recognize all the hard work that went into all of those courses, especially the work done by Deputy Swift Walser to make sure that those ComXs and events planned, was it October, went off without a hitch. I know a lot of work goes into that, so thank you very much for making that happen and all those credentialing can occur. Very nice work, everyone.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Next up is public comment. Well, it looks like we're at the end of the meeting here. I just want to tell everybody thanks for letting me sit up here and appreciate it. If nothing else, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thanks.